Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games and Quick Hot Fix. Today, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of Silent Hill. We have Silent Hill 2 with some familiar faces. I'll let everybody reintroduce themselves, so.
Hi, I'm Abby. You may have heard my voice slightly. I am the runner this time, and with me I have Nyiddle, who
Hi.
you may have seen before.
Nah, never seen him in my life. How's everybody doing? I'm back. I'm here to
Alright.
do the comms.
Yeah, and the reason we're starting on this screen is because the OG version can be far more finicky than the regular or the enhanced edition. So that's why we're starting here. A couple of quick differences. So the OG version is 30 frames per second, whereas the enhanced edition is 60. So when it comes to doing our RNG manipulation or finding our seed, we want to do about 0 to 100, whereas enhanced edition wants to do 0 to 200. So without any further ado, in 3, 2, 1, let's begin the run. So another difference, other than the textures looking awful and it being 16 by 9 and the fact that we can only play in English, is the fact that we still need to, like, the runs are almost identical, but because we're at a lower frame rate and because of the way the camera behaves, one thing that we didn't mention is the fact that the analog stick, because of the PC version, actually kind of interferes with the camera a bit, or so I was told by one of the best players of Silent Hill 2. That's what he mentioned to me when I was starting to run this game, and it was like, oh dear. So yeah, as we mentioned, hitting quick save increases James's stamina to max, allowing him to run at full speed. I don't know why they chose 2 speeds, but they did. Heather from Silent Hill 3 also has those 2 speeds. But a little fun trivia for you. The actor for James is not a professional voice actor. Supposedly, the story goes is he was waiting for his daughter because his daughter was doing an audition for something. And so while he was waiting in the hallway, they kind of just pointed at him and said, you are the voice of this character. So if you hear his dialogue and it sounds like, wow, this is really weird, it's because he has no acting experience. He's not a professional voice actor or anything like that. This game was, of its time, a very unique scenario for when it was being made. So yeah, one thing, we want to stop pressing game save there so that we can grab the chainsaw without any interference. As we mentioned, depending how much you've pressed game save or how close you've pressed it to when picking up an item, it's like, game freaks out and doesn't know what to do. So that's what we're going to do. So you got to be careful a little bit. Obviously, you don't have to mash game save so hard. I typically press it in time with James's footsteps because, again, if you need the text storage and the text manipulation to skip cutscenes and whatnot, if you let go of game save, the text will disappear and then you're in big trouble and it's like, oh no. So yeah, here we go with getting the text, and now we'll also be able to see everything. Also, you want to make sure that you're not moving, because if you move, the text will just immediately disappear anyway, even if you hit game save. So you want to make sure that you've hit the text, then hit game save, then move, so that way it's there. So there's no reason to go back. I'm looking for Mary. So again, we're doing that to skip a cutscene, and this saves about 4 minutes of time, though that is also due to the fact of running at full speed the whole time. Because again, you got to go get the plank, you got to go murder the enemy, pick up the radio, all that jazz. And I think it takes, because I started running on the PS2 version, and it takes about 8 minutes to enter the apartments, I think.
Yeah. It's
8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And also, fun fact, the PS2 also has the RNG manipulation. For that, you will need to set your clock back to or forward, I guess, to December 31st, 2099 at or 2350 to 55, depending. Also, you need to set your PS2's language to Japanese to get your seed, though the seed is a giant spreadsheet. One thing we also didn't mention before is that, yes, we have the magic trick to pop the cars up, but guess what? Their hitbox is there the entire time. It's just you don't know what you're running into. You're just running into this invisible object. So it's like, oh no. And again, you could keep that text up the entire time, but nothing will be shown, and eventually the corpse will just spawn. But again, whereas we could get locked for a couple of seconds, we don't really want to do that. So here we go, press it one more time and we should be good. There we go. And if we were to get the plank, there'd be an enemy coming from beneath the van there, but we don't have to worry about that as we keep running as fast as we can. A joke that I make, because supposedly the game comes out the game takes place in 1993, is that James is actually an Olympic athlete training for the 1996 Summer Olympics. Which is why he can run so fast for so long. But of course, that's not true. And I don't know how true it is that the game takes place in 1993. Supposedly, Silent Hill takes place in 1984, Silent Hill Origins takes place in 1977, and Silent Hill 3 takes place in 2001. I don't know when Silent Hill 4 takes place or any of that. One of the interesting things, speaking of Silent Hill 4 for 2 seconds, is apparently it takes place in the area where Mary was kept in the hospital. Like, that hospital is the town of Silent Hill 4. And also Walter's father, or Walter's apartment manager is like James's father or something like that.
I think that's correct. Yeah, I'm not super up to date on my Silent Hill 4 lore, but I think that's right. Yeah, he's like the landlord or the building manager.
Yeah. So here we go. We've got our flashlight. Now we need to go get our gun and the key get kicked away. I typically go get the key because there's just a fun little visual quirk, which is that quick save game save doesn't show up at the screen for too long because it's kind of borked. It'll still save, but it's borked. So pick up the gun. I'm going to equip the gun here right away because to stop the manipulation, because unfortunately I don't have the ability to use the keyboard and switch back and forth. So I'm just going to equip the gun to unbork ourselves when we soft lock ourselves. Because if you don't have a gun equipped or anything like that, or don't have the option of a keyboard to hit the walk, you're kind of stuck there. So there we go. Once the text is gone, we're good. Because while we're here, he's not red. He's now red. You don't want to move, by the way, when doing that either, because if you move, he refuses to go back to red. And if you don't have a weapon equipped or the ability to do the walk, you have to quick load. And unfortunately, we can't quick load wherever we want. There are only 2 specific spots that are legal to not invalidate your run, and that's the elevator trick that you saw Nyiddle do, which is actually a very, very hard trick to do. Not many runners actually do it. And then there's the key trick that we saw to get into the prison.
Yeah.
So now that we have the clock key, we can go. Oh, go ahead.
The risk of some of the spots where you can do game saved are just really high. It's if you do it slightly wrong time with text on the screen, you're just out of luck.
And our clock time is 1:04. All right. And then let's go into my inventory, scroll over, which is not bad because that means we don't have to go too far. Because again, you need to switch the clock to about 9:10. Even if you do 9 o'clock, you don't hear that clicking sound. That clicking sound means that he can push that, which is great. Also, it should be noted that if you miss the clock time or you forget the clock time, don't worry, you can still get your RNG seed, because if you know where the blood is or where the carbon is, you can see those numbers and then get your seed times there or your seed numbers there. So it's not a total loss if you miss the clock or forget to use the clock. Another thing that Enhanced Edition does is it'll put you right in front of the courtyard key. That's not a case in the original. The original doesn't do that, so you got to turn and grab it there. And then we grab the next key and head on down. One thing coming up here that also is that while James can run faster outside, except for the pool area. The pool area, no. He's just like, no, I'm going to keep going at my slowest speed, because James's indoor speed is his slowest speed outside. Again, not sure why they chose two different speeds, but they did. And also, we don't know where the juice goes, because while the juice knocks down the coin, the juice itself is not in the trash, so it's a little weird.
You need another juice to knock the first juice down, and then it's a never-ending cycle.
So. Oh, there we go. Again, this is the only spot well behind the fence that you can run at full speed, which is unfortunate. Oh, wow, I actually got to where he ran a bit slower. Interesting. All right, heading up the stairs. Again, this is another part where you can choose what you want to do. You can either go to the swimming pool and grab that one first, or you can go down and grab the trash first. There's no real difference in time. It's basically personal preference. Again, there's a few spots where we can do that. One thing about also meeting Eddie, as I spoiled the meeting with Eddie, you actually do have to meet him every time, because if you don't meet Eddie, Angela will not spawn in, so you can't get the third coin. So here we go, we're grabbing the coin and reading some gossip. Oh no, not gossip. I have no idea what the gossip says. I never paid attention to it.
There's a little trick there that neither of us got, that you can sort of skip the text and start moving out of the corner there a little bit faster. On the Enhanced Edition, it's a little weird though, because it's 60 FPS, so you have to you have to get a 60th of a frame correctly, basically, to get it. And it's a little hard on this one too, just because you have to do blind movement where you can't see anything and you're moving James without seeing him.
Here we go. So here we meet Eddie, and the cutscenes are a little rough. So I'll skip that there.
Beautiful.
Indeed. Don't try to hug me. Oh wait, that's the next game where they can hug you, and it's awful. The next game introduces quick time events. Yay!
Which are going to be a thing in the remake.
Oh no. I already grabbed that, so I don't have to do it. I rarely do that one first, so I was like, oh, oakley dokley. I have to remember that I did that first, because I usually go to the swimming pool first.
The best is forgetting to grab the coin, putting the juice in, and then going straight out to talk to Eddie, and you're like, wow, look at the pace. I'm doing so great. And then you get to the coin puzzle, and you're like, uh-oh.
There we go. Oh. Again, the camera is your greatest enemy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hardest boss fight in the game. It's just the camera.
Yep. And there we go. Keep going down. Run away from the noise that sounds like a whimpering dog. It's not a whimpering dog, by the way. It's a bug.
I've always said it's a cockroach on a tricycle. With a squeaky wheel.
I mean, it could be, but it sounds like a dog kind of whimpering too to me. And I'm like, must not go toward. Uh-oh. Again, the camera is very finicky. But we've made it here. And obviously the coins are going to look a lot worse than they do in Enhanced Edition, to the point where you can't even tell what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, they did a really good job upscaling all these inventory items and stuff, and you can like examine them closer and really actually make out what's on them.
There we go.
Nice.
Excellent. Oh. Let me see if I can fix that, because that's weird. Sorry about that. Apparently, no one can hear the video game. That's not good. See if I can fix that real quick. Is
If
it?
not, we can take a few minutes for a technical difficulty break if you want.
That might be wise, because it's not letting me fix the sound, and I don't know why it's not letting me fix the sound.
Everybody, welcome back. Sorry about that, but luckily we got it all fixed, so whenever you're ready.
All right. Again, sorry about that, but luckily it was a quick fix once I figured out what was going on. And now we're going to go to the Whisper Room. Now, I don't know about you, Nyiddle, but I didn't know there were whispers in this game. And so the first time I heard them, it absolutely, like, I was like, where did that cut? I was scared.
The real question is, what are the whispers saying? Like, is it just nonsense, or is it Eddie's pizza order? Is it like
A very good question. All right. So here we go. Sit in the corner. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, one thing, you want to make sure that he's going away from you, because if you get too close to him as he's going down the stairs, he will turn around and come back and hit you. And again, he is a one-hit kill. No matter what difficulty you are on, he will one-hit kill you. He is the only thing that can kill you on this difficulty. So this is where we put in our code. You said it was frame 58, right?
yes?
Yep.
104.
All right. So,
Yeah, the nice thing
So-
about having cutscenes and stuff is that you have plenty of time to check your frame during the run.
yeah, and this is typically where we check it, because we do have to wait for Pyramid Head to go down and drain the water. So that's why the clock is ideal for figuring out your time. And then we've got full motion once again. Huzzah. Hello, Laura. Goodbye, Laura. You could see how very pixelated she was there. And also another thing that you can do is if you hit game save during cutscenes, we saw it there with the piano, but you can actually do it here too.
So
And
this
then
is that
move
part.
on. Yeah. And then we've got Maria right here.
Mary?
And as you can see, even these cutscenes are a little rough. Do I look like a ghost? As we keep running. And again, for Maria ending specifically, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stay close to her when running through the town. You're not supposed to bump into her. You can bump into her a maximum of 3 times. And if you do that more, then it's like, nah, you can't get this ending. Also, you have to protect her from damage. I have never done that, and the game's like, here, have Maria ending every time. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The only new game ending that you can 100% do prerequisites for is water ending, which is read the journal on top of the hospital, examine Angela's knife, and then listen to the conversation with Mary and James at the hospital, which we don't even hear that conversation in dog ending. And of course, are you ready to go bowling, chat? It's time to go bowling. Unfortunately, Maria's like, I hate bowling. And it's just like, all right, party pooper. And there's the pizza. Did you find the lady you were looking for? What's her name? Mary? And as is tradition, the pizza cutscene, but this time in a lower resolution.
Eddie? Oh.
Yeah, the lack of shadows in this scene, I think, makes a big difference in the enhanced edition.
Yeah.
Or compared
I
to.
remember. But
And as you can see, his mouth is screwing up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of like aliasing on the mouth in lower resolutions for sure. Like on the table and stuff, you can see little pixels.
And I don't even think you can tell that it's All-Star Pizza. I
Yeah,
don't think.
yeah. When we see the back of the box in the enhanced edition, it clearly says All Star Pizza, but in this one,
Let's go after her.
huh?
kind of doesn't.
Why?
Laura. Is that her name?
That's what she said.
That is what she said. Oh no, you can tell
Oh, you
that
can
it's
see it.
All-Star Pizza.
Wow.
Okay.
I never
How
noticed
can you
that.
sit there and eat pizza? Now, one thing we didn't mention, Laura doesn't see any of these monsters. She doesn't know there's monsters. She's just being mean to you, and for good reason, because James is actually the worst protagonist out of all the Silent Hill protagonists. Though I admittedly haven't played Downpour, so I don't know if Murphy is worse. And I also know nothing about Henry. But James is actually a giant jerk, but I won't spoil why. You will know that if you do a new game ending. Anybody who's done a new game ending will know. Also, fun fact, Heaven's Night is in Silent Hill 3, but you know it's not in Silent Hill 3? This song. I was very disappointed when I found that out.
The Heaven's Night song is great. You could just like hang out in there and jam out for a bit.
Yeah.
It's a shame
But,
in the speed run for some of the cutscenes that we skipped because some of those songs are just a masterpiece.
Yes. So now we're just running to the hospital. Fun fact, the layout of the hospital as well as that street I was just running to is the same in Silent Hill 3. There are just certain rooms we don't go into. Also, fun fact, I just found out, like, while doing practice for this hotfix, that there's a cow on the key, and it's purple, which is why the key is called the Purple Bull key. I didn't know that for the longest time, that's the reason it has that name. So
Yeah.
here we
The enhanced edition answered a lot of questions I had about some of the items. I was always like, this doesn't look like a key at all. This is like a series of pixels. And then you play the enhanced edition, you're like, oh, that's how it's a key.
So here we go. Pick up the bullets and the key. And then run away. Always run away from the noises. Then we go this way. It's very rare that you'll have Maria get hit. It's really hard to actually get or have something hit her because if you know where you're going, there's no reason to be along or around for the windup. Oh, and again, for the Maria ending, supposedly according to resources, I'll say, you have to check up on her when she's in the third floor or on the third floor. So there we go. But we never check up on her. So I'm very baffled when the game gives me Maria ending because I don't do anything the game supposedly wants me to do. So here we go. Unlock the rooftop. And there's the journal right there. And then hopefully he's showing up. There he is. And he's just like, prepare to fall. And then we're going to run. There is a room that has the blood. I forget which room it is because I rarely go in there. But I know the general direction. So here we go. We're inside. And then pause. I'm going to equip the shotgun now. Unfortunately, I can't do the hotkeys to like pull out certain weapons and the like. So we've got to do it the old-fashioned way. And we need 6, 7, 8, and 6, 8, 6, 2. There we go.
Nice.
Now, I have a theory about this hair, because this piece of hair is going to be used to fish out a key. And you wouldn't think that a strand of hair would be so strong to be able to do that. Well, what if I told you that it's a strand of Alyssa's hair And that is why it is so strong to be able to do this.
But hey, that's just no.
So there we go, and then we go down to the first floor. Again, elevator rides are unskippable, except for that one where there's that host question guy. So we gotta deal with that. We go to C2. And Laura's just hiding here with a lot of teddy bears. And then she locks us in the room. She doesn't know about these guys. So 1. And then 2. You know you can fire, by the way, when James is staring at them. There we go. And 3? Or are you gonna... Good, he
Nice.
didn't do the thing where he's just gonna crawl along the ceiling.
Yeah,
So
in
there we
a
go.
PB run, that crawling along the ceiling is like such a moment of shame. It's like a good like 7 or 8 seconds where you're just waiting for. You're like, I know you're dead. I just have to wait.
So you saw earlier in the last run us do a quick load manipulation to get a key. Well, if we didn't have that quick load manipulation, we have to get a battery and put it into our flashlight. Unfortunately, we still have to pick up the battery because it will always pick up the battery first before picking up the basement key. And then we head to the 3rd floor because the 3rd floor is the only floor that has access to the staircase. Don't ask me why it's like that, but it is. So 2nd floor is like, nah, I'm not gonna open for you. And so it's just like, oh, okay. So now we're going down. And then we're going to see Maria again, who's going to say, James.
James.
And we are reunited.
In that case, she just said Jay.
There we go. That's some shotgun shells on the ground. James will often be staring at items he can pick up, so anytime you see him just staring at the floor, that's typically what he's looking at. But we don't really need to pick up anything because enemies die rather quickly. In Silent Hill 3, you can skip elevator rides, and the difference there is that this wasn't actually in-house at Konami. This was done by a dev team called Creature Labs, and Silent Hill 3 was in-house, which is why Silent Hill 3 is more stable than Silent Hill 2. Because one reason is that we have an enhanced edition is because this game is so finicky and so like, nah, I don't want to work, especially on a modern PC, that it's quite the headache to get running to the point where we need DX Wind to even open the game in a window.
Yeah.
And also change some other things. So now we have both rings. We needed Maria, by the way, to get that 2nd ring. In the cutscene that we skipped, she's the one that actually opens the fridge. So then we can combine these two and put it there. We can see how low resolution this is compared to the enhanced edition as we run down and see our good friend Pyramid Head once more. I do not know what that blue note says, but there's a blue note on the ground. So there we go.
I've accidentally inspected it before. I think it's a news article. I don't remember about what.
Ah,
But it was a good lesson in don't mash A when you're going down the stairs.
remember, don't mash A when going downstairs.
Yeah.
This has been a PSA about video games. So we're just running away. And we'll watch this cutscene for a brief moment to show you what happens. Everything's fine.
She's cool.
Oh, wait. Oh. Well, bye.
Darn. She died in your playthrough? That didn't happen to me.
Oh, dear. So, fun fact. So we don't have a map, but he's going to be drawing on the map, despite that fact. Also, by hitting game save or quick save, you can actually move around. you can actually hear me moving, but you can't interact with the door, despite the fact that we have the ability to move.
Yeah, and the IGT runs during this part, so it's like the game is very much running, despite it being kind of a cutscene.
Yeah. So here we go. Come on, camera. Thank you. So yeah, it's another hospital that locks from the outside and not the inside. Again, we need the flashlight on here because there's a door that we have to open. That is specifically why we don't have the text manipulation there, because James has to open a door, and James, much like Heather, cannot see in the dark. So it's like, oh no. So we're just gonna run with the flashlight on. Surprisingly, Silent Hill 2's nurses are a bit creepier, in my opinion, than Silent Hill 3's. Silent Hill 3, they have that breathing, but they just look creepier in this game, in my opinion. So again, we're just running through the town. Somehow James really knows his way around the town that he's only been to like once and hasn't been here in 3 years.
With no
But
map,
he's just
mind
like-
you.
Yeah, no map, no nothing. Decided not to drive to the lake. He decided to run because, of course, why take a car to the hotel? Nah, he really wanted that Olympic training. And then here we have these fine creatures. We don't really see them outside of here, but if you do a new game run, you would see them on your way to the Pyramid Head boss fight number 2, as well as to the Maria boss fight and or Mary, because it really depends what your choices are, who the actual final boss is. But for our purposes, Eddie is the final boss of the run. So it's really dark here, and there are a couple of things that I use as a... What am I doing? Not doing the thing that I needed to do because I was thinking I was in the wrong spot. So there's a couple of things that I use to help me figure out, and that is the awnings, because the awnings have different colors that you want to follow. And while it is very dark and it's very hard to see the colors, they're sort of visible. Again, we have this specifically so that we can see. There we go. Oh, wait, did I go the wrong way? I went the wrong way. Ah ha ha, the joke's on me. Because I definitely can't get lost here.
I didn't want to say anything because I was like, I might use this myself. If this works out, this might actually be great.
Okay, it turned out I went the wrong way. Let's just pretend that never happened and I go the right way. And we never saw this happen, because there we go. This is the right way, because we want to see the blue awnings. Don't run into that, please. And then we're going to go straight. Luckily, I was able to find my way back, because I don't know my way around this town, especially at night. And then we want to go this way. You'll know you're close to the house, by the way, because the camera's going to change like that. So we can turn the light on. And if you were to do the proper trick, you wouldn't have to run your way back. You could run straight into that direction. So again, turn off the light. There we go. And again, we want to use the color of the awnings. They go green, and then they go blue, and then they're going to go green again. It really helps figure out where you're going, provided you don't make a wrong turn somewhere, because you forgot to do something.
Never happens. Never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
So then we go this way. Again, you see the blue, beware the telephones, and there we go. Green, and back to blue. And then we're gonna go. Now again, cars are despawned currently. Also, we're back out front the apartments. There we go, there's that magic trick. So be careful when running in the road, because you could hit a car that you didn't know was there. There we just keep running. And also, a new door opens. Fun fact, if you go there during the day, that door is not there. Also, the inn makes a return in Silent Hill 3 as well. I don't know if you can go inside any of the doors in the inn, however, in 2. Because I've never tried. So here we go. Again, the running at full speed really helps because in a PS2 run where you can't run full speed at all time, you're adding about a half an hour to your run time, RTA-wise. So it's like an hour and a half run because of that. I mean, obviously the hotel trick and whatnot also make it, faster, but... So here we go. We found the angel statue. And then we're going to switch to the chainsaw. And then hit the wrench. What do you... Oh, wait, I didn't dig it out yet. Oh, whoops, did something a little too early. Because technically you want to dig it out first, then pull out the chainsaw, then use the wrench. Also, I usually get the dog key at night. I don't usually go for it in the day. So again, that's another thing that you can do is just grab it either in the day or the night. It's whatever your preference is. I typically grab it at night because it just feels like there's a reason for me to run across the street. Actually, it wasn't until the AGDQ run that I found out that the dog key even spawns during the day. I literally thought it only spawned at night. Because the world record run for this gets it at night. So that's why I get it at night, because I thought it was the only time you could. So right now we're just running. Oh yeah, is the sign still have an ad on it in Enhanced Edition? Because I know that was a thing before it became speedrun viable, that they put an ad on it or something?
Yeah. There's the one that says your ad here. But is that there in this version?
I am not sure, but I heard...
no, it's that one.
Oh, yeah, okay, it's right there. Because I heard that apparently the EE team put something on one of the signs in the Enhanced Edition, but I don't know what it is.
Oh. Yeah, I know there's the your ad sign, and then there's the Quiet Cocktails one. Those are the two that I can recall from memory for the Enhanced Edition, even though I was just doing this not half an hour ago. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look for that actually.
So now this is where you also find out that Silent Hill is a mountain town, because one thing that we didn't mention last time is that James goes down this really long rampway and then falls down 5 holes, and also goes down a really long an elevator that goes down for a while, yet somehow ends up on the surface. Now, you wouldn't think that if this wasn't a mountain town, that he would end up on the surface after falling down that much. So, surprise. As we just continue down. Of course, there is a live-action movie adaptation of this game coming at some point.
I can't wait for this part in the adaptation. It's going to be great. Just a minute of the actor walking downstairs.
There we go. He's going to stay out of my way. Hooray. Hole number 1 of 5. And then he ends up in a well. And let's hope I hit the spot. Yay. Nice. When I was practicing for this, I couldn't find the spot for the life of me.
Yeah, the visual tell for that casually is there's a little piece of red paper that sticks out of kind of the wall, but when you're trying to go fast, you're not really, you don't have time to look at the pixels on the ground,
So here we go. Quick save and then quick load. Because one thing about quick loading and why it will invalidate your run is the fact that when you quick load, it loads the IGT back to when the last save was. So it'll roll your IGT back, so it makes sense that you wouldn't you wouldn't allow that too much. Also, quick saving and quick loading behave differently in Silent Hill 3 because every time you quick save, it'll actually go, the screen will go to black every time. And so, while it behaves sort of the same way, it's not like, oh, I can mash it and just run and be fine. It's like, nah, I'm gonna, like, go to black for a second, have fun with that. I didn't start speedrunning the Silent Hill series with this game, which is why I keep bringing up 3 so much, because that's the one that I started with. So I know a bit more about that one than I do this one. I started speedrunning this about a year ago, because as I mentioned, it is kind of a pain to get this game up and running on PC. I'd actually like to shout out Eldergoth and Aaron for helping me a lot with that, because if it wasn't for both of them, I would have never gotten this game up and running on PC.
Yeah, that's definitely one big thing about the enhanced edition that makes things nicer, is that this game, just as a result of, you know, technology changing and stuff like that, and also it was not a very good port to begin with. It's just a pain in every sense of the word. There's multiple discs involved. You have to install from the multiple discs. There has to be a disc inserted when you run the game. It's like it has classic
PC.
Yeah, classic PC pitfalls, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was also one of the games that had a CD version and a DVD version, because I know that Silent Hill 3 had that, where there's like a version where you install everything and play it off of a CD, and then there's a DVD version, and it's like, oh god, please no. The only game that is available for sale, actually there's 2, because Homecoming, which is a mess of a port, and then there's Silent Hill 4 available on GOG, though that version does not like controllers, unfortunately. Also, somehow by putting those 3 tablets in that spot, a horseshoe appears on the door, and again, we're using it to make a handle to go down a hole. And that's, you know, perfectly logical, I suppose, though I would imagine that the putty would need to dry a bit more to harden so that you could actually pull it, but what do I know? Video games, am I right?
It wouldn't work. We need the Mythbusters on it.
So here we go. I don't heal, so the red cross stays. As
You'd
we
like
just
to live
go
dangerously.
down. Indeed. Live on the edge, as they say.
This is a funny part, because you can actually run James off the camera if you just kind of like hold him down and like spin in a circle. On the enhanced edition, you can't. If you just like push him to the other side of the elevator so that the camera starts rotating, like, yeah, if you just do that in circles, you can run James completely off the camera, where the camera's like trying to catch up to him. On enhanced edition, that's impossible, because the camera swivels at the speed of sound. It has like acceleration, like a rubber banding. There you go. Yeah.
Whee! So fun fact, when that elevator glitch that Nyiddle did in the last run was found, I thought it was for this. I didn't realize that it was just a 2-second time save to save time on the other elevators. So I was so confused, and then it was like, no, it's for this, and I was like, oh.
It would be nice if we could cut out that elevator. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
So here we go. We're running in the water, and of course, since it's water, that means we got to move so slow. So one thing about this, you want to make sure that the yellow face is upside down. That's how I remember the solution to that puzzle, is face upside down, and we're good. And hey, it's Maria. But she knows things that only Mary would know. And it's like, oh dear. So grab the pliers. Sometimes it can be a little finicky picking up the pliers, to the point where James will actually just go back down the ladder, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, the ladder for the hitbox for the ladders, sorry, are pretty massive. The hitbox for the item pickups are pretty tiny, like really small.
So here we go. Go for it. Switching back to the shotgun, of course. And because I just learned about the boss skip, we won't be performing that. We will see what the boss fight looks like
That's
as
fair.
we save Angela.
First time, try it out, see how it goes.
Live on Games Done Quick Hotfix.
Yeah.
So for this guy, you want to kind of sit back so he'll scuttle away, because James can actually get caught on his hitbox because there is a bit of a hitbox when they die. But by doing that, he scuttles away and gets out of my way, and it's perfectly fine. Oh, and because this is 4, I can finally point out how the arsonists are structured, because it can be a little confusing at times, so it's perfect that we got 4. Because it's funny, I sometimes, or when I was first learning this game, I actually screwed up how the arsonists behave when it comes to what number is what.
Oh
So,
yeah,
you know.
I didn't even think about that because I've internalized it. But yeah, the numbers for the arsonist are weird.
So here we go.
Abstract.
Oh, hello. And we're done. Supposedly, this is actually Angela's father in monster form, and that's why she throws the giant TV at him to make sure that he's dead. Wrong
Great
way.
cutscene where she slams the TV on his head.
So here we go. This is how the arsonists behave. So you would think it's 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. No, this is 4. And so we pull it, and if you get it wrong, what happens is when you go in the other room, there's no key on the ground, and when you go back out, there's 2 enemies just sitting there. So there we go. We got it,
Nice.
and then we run away.
The puzzle for the arsonist key is actually really cool, but fortunately, we don't even have to mess with it.
Yeah. Fun fact, though, I actually thought that the puzzle actually extended, and that wasn't the end of the puzzle, because I didn't realize that the grave site was always going to be the same. I thought it also corresponded with the graves
Oh,
the first time, and it was like, no, it's fine.
it's classic. Like the puzzle was simpler than I had thought all along.
So here we go, running as we head towards Edward or Eddie or Edwin. We don't know what his full name is, so I could just be making stuff up. So here we go, going down. And then I don't have fog complexity up, so there's barely going to be any condensation from the freezers. But even then, it's really, really low. Like I said, the PS2 version is far superior, and the Xbox original version is the PC version. So they share IGT, as a matter of fact, but I don't know if it's the splash screen, because the way the PS2 game or the PS2 version behaves, as Eddie dies here, very comically, is that once the splash screen hits, your seat is set. So you could sit on the menu forever and you don't have to worry about it, where I believe the Xbox behaves like the PC version. And then when it comes to the HDC version, I cannot help you because I've never played the HDC version of 2. I've done 3, but not 2. So
Dodged a
here we
bullet.
go. There's
I
the
see.
light. Go into the light, James. So we just slowly go along the boat. And as you can see how very pixelated his eyes and his hair is, and this is even with high-res textures on. Again, it's a game from 2002. So it's going to look a bit rough. This is actually probably the perfect example of how different the 2 versions actually look.
Yeah, the water and stuff too. I mean, we're comparing the graphics, but don't get it wrong, like the OG has such charm with its graphics, and it really like, I don't know, that aliasing where like the textures are kind of like, you know, you can see the pixels kind of like fading back and forth. Like I actually really like that style, and it's funny because a lot of horror games these days try to emulate this exact style. You know, if you've played any like indie horror games and stuff, there's a whole like collection of sort of this era of graphics in horror format. You know.
Yeah. And then, careful, I'm going the wrong way. Classic camera. So one thing that we saw where Nyiddle saw the thing. See, when this plays, I'm gonna let it play. He scratches it looks like he scratches his nose almost with the shotgun, depending on your angle. And it's like, James, what are you doing? So there we go. And then we go down. Fun fact, that cutscene will actually turn the flashlight back on. So here we go. We're going to try it. Again, because we have the text manipulation, it won't let us go up the stairs, which is why we can do that. Sometimes this wants to be a little finicky of when it wants to let me... Hey!
Nice. Really nice.
There we go. And then once we've got it here, let go of the text, because otherwise James is just going to like run in place forever. And then we're going to turn the flashlight back on so that way we can see where he is. Also, you may have noticed that loading scene back from when we were using the key to unlock the handcuffs to be able to turn the valve. There we go. We're in. Going back upstairs. Also, one thing we didn't mention, despite the fact that we have the flashlight, we still need to get the light bulb and put the light bulb in because the game will crash. No one has figured out how to not use the light bulb, so the light bulb is still very important so that we don't crash the game. Because the game's just like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
I didn't know
So
that.
that is why we still get the light bulb. Grab the Snow White, which is technically supposed to be the third and final one, because again... well, the third and final one because we know what lose is, or what our suitcase is, because you're supposed to get paint thinner to find the answer, and I don't even know where you find the paint thinner, but there's a wall down here that you can find it.
It's on the elevator, I think.
Ah,
I only know because when I first started running this, I did not do the RNG stuff. And I would just go check the codes.
that's fair. Fellow speedrunner of Silent Hill 2, Maxi Lobes actually plays this game in 3D and will just wing all the codes. And because before it was found like, hey, here's how to figure out your RNG and stuff, and before 2D controls, the game used to be ran on 3D controls, and whatnot. Silent Hill 2 and 4 are done on 2D controls. 1 and 3 are done on 3D controls. I don't even know if there's 2D controls for 1. And Silent Hill Origins doesn't have an option because it's a PSP game that was later ported to the PS2 version, or to the PS2. And then there's, I don't know what the other ones have. It's been a while since I've played Silent Hill Homecoming and whatnot. But yeah, this game used to be ran on 3D controls. Use the fish key, but not the case. I actually run Silent Hill 3 on 2D controls, so the transition to 2 wasn't as jarring for me as it is for other Silent Hill 3 runners and 1 runners, because the controls are quite different when you switch them. So
By the way, we
here
have the same code here.
Yeah,
Coincidentally.
let's go lose.
Oh yeah, another thing I forgot, the codes here are capitalized in the enhanced edition, and they're lowercase in the OG.
I didn't even notice that when I was like, oh, so that was news to me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the only like stylistic sort of changes, but it makes it easier to read the code, to be fair.
That is fair. Which is funny because in the Lucky Hill, which is the software that we use to get our answers. It's also lowercase. So right
Yeah,
here,
that's true.
Cinderella. And then the Little Mermaid. And then we go. Before I learned how to do the out of bounds to get into the basement, I would actually put the Little Mermaid in before grabbing the others. But there we go. Going up. Excellent. And then... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, camera,
The
please.
camera in this room is always crazy.
Oh, and also the VCR is the most finicky thing alive. There we go. He's gonna put the videotape in. He's gonna realize that he actually murdered his wife. And that he is kind of a jerk. And that is time. Witness the low poly dog ending. And also, it'll translate what James says in Japanese. It was your work. It was all your work. Why? Because why not? And then we get to experience the song once again. Because of course, we can't skip out on the dog song. It's amazing. And again, you can see how pixelated everything is, though it's the same in EE for this part only.
Yeah, that background footage is they just took the footage because there are some like sort of movies bundled with this game. If you like, hang out on the main menu, you get like the little opening trailer, and then there's a few others in the extras.
Yeah, you can get the TGS trailer for 3, the E3 trailer for this. I want to say the E3 trailer for 3, or is it just the TGS trailer? And you can also get the James Honey intro sequence at the beginning. There's like a ton of like extras that it has. And of course, Born from a Wish on the PS2 is only available if you get the greatest hits version. Fun fact, if you get the black label version, it won't have Born from a Wish, because Born from a Wish was a PC thing that later got ported to PS2 and Xbox, although, the Xbox version is the PC version. So there's a difference for you game collectors out there wondering, like, which PS2 version is the best. You want the greatest hits version. If you can find it for a reasonable price. Yo, Nyiddle, do you want to tell the people again where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/Nyiddle. I run Silent Hill 2 and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, he's also a very excellent DBD player, so if you like the Dead by Daylights, Nyiddle is the stream for you. Thanks again for joining for the commentary. I know we did a role reversal, but it's very much appreciated and whatnot.
Anytime.
Also, shout outs to Emma. I don't know if Emma plugged that she's doing Silent Hill Origins on Wednesday on Speedruns from the Crypt. She's also a part of my Twitch team. So was Death Tropes. So was Schmumbler. And Eldergoth, who I also mentioned, is also a part of that Twitch team. Again, if it wasn't for her help, I would have never been able to get EE or this version working. So thank you very much for that. You will see more of me in the next run, because I'm the Origins runner for this year hotfix, as we'll be doing UFO. And but if you have to go, you can catch me on twitch.tv/Abby's Corner. I do a lot of speed runs and whatnot. I'll also be on Frost Fatales next week. On Monday, I'll be doing RE4 Separate Ways. And on Thursday, I'll be doing Symphony of the Night on the Sega Saturn Alucard Any%. So yeah. But I'll be back in a short amount of time. And also, hey, I beat your boat stage.
You did. I was gonna say it's a better boat stage than I got. Damn.
And I was on controller the whole time. Also, check out the saves 1551 because it'll tell you how many times you've saved in the game.
Heck yeah.
GG's.
All right. Thank you so much to the both of you. Thank you, Nyiddle, for commentating and being on the run before. Abby, thank you as well. We'll see more of you in a few seconds here. So, like Abby said, last game of the night, we have Silent Hill Origins. We'll be back in a few minutes with it. See y'all in just a few minutes.